Hi, welcome to my channel, a channel where I try to give my take on music, and this episode's topic is the Canadian progressive rock band SAGA's The Chapters. Now, The Chapters, or the story behind it, is about when Jim Crichton, I say Crichton, like the novelist Michael Crichton, read an article in a magazine in the late 70s about that Albert Einstein's brain was being preserved and kept at the Smithsonian Institute for Study. Actually, I think it was the guy that did the autopsy on Albert Einstein back in 1955 that had it on his shelf in his office at that time. Anyhow, there was a lot of talk about nuclear war, and the Cold War was at its peak back in late 70s. So the Star Wars movies decade started. So there was a lot of things going on, and the story should be told in chapters, and it would be put into like a puzzle. So you got a couple of chapters on different albums. So Jim Crichton never really relieved why he did it, the full story about the chapters. And he said even in 2005 that there might come more chapters added to the story, but so far we got 16 chapters. He spoke about the idea that extraterrestrials observe life on Earth and have to determine a certain self-destruction among people living here. So they decide to bring someone to Earth in order to put the Earth and its inhabitants back on track and the right course. They quickly find out that there's only one person for this assignment, is Albert Einstein. So the plan is to give him a body, which is seen on the first album from SAGA. That's the body of Mr. Einstein. So that's how it's they perceived it. So if you take the chapters one by one, the first chapter called Images is, you can see it here, it's Albert Einstein as an old man trying to see the meaning of his life, paint pictures on the sidewalk, and people are looking at him, gathering around him. So the rain comes and washes away the pictures, and that's the first chapter, which was on Images at Twilight from 1979. Now, Don't Be Late, which was chapter 2, was from Silent Night from 1980, and as you can see here, you got Mr. Einstein's brain in the preserved bottle. Chapter 3 is It's Time. So the aliens come and pick up the brain of Mr. Einstein and put it into his new body. So here, then they arrive on our dear planet, and the result is, of course, that we try to engage them militarily, and that's not a good idea, because the result, which is here in chapter 5, is No Regrets. As you can see, down planes and the aliens flying above. Then we have the tired world. You can see people have left their cars and leaves are falling and cities is like abandoned. So that's what that song is about, which was A Tired World. It was actually on the first album. It's tune number 8 on that album. Then Too Much to Lose is the next. That was from Silent Night from 1980. Then you got No Strangers. Again, the cover here is very good in booklet. So this one is from the album No Strangers. I think it's from World Apart. And then we get Remember When. It's from the album Full Circle from 1999. So there's a time span here. And again, we get Not This Way, chapter 10. And that's also from Full Circle from 1999. Then we get the song Ashes to Ashes, which is chapter 11, and it's from the album House of Cards from 2001. Then you got You Know, I Know, which is chapter 12, was on the album Marathon from 2003. And we carry on. Chapter 13 is Uncle Albert's Eyes, and you can see here his eyes in the body that he's got from the aliens, and it's from the Full Circle album from 1999. The Streets of Gold. Here you have the symbols of different religions lying on the floor with the guns aiming at each other. So that's from Marathon 2003. Then you got in the booklet, We'll Meet Again, the aliens redraw from the Earth, and that's from House of Cards in 2001. And then it actually ends with Worlds Apart, chapter 16, and that's from Marathon 2003. Now, the SAGA recorded the album in 2003, and it was released in 2005. And this was the first time that you could hear all 16 chapters in a row. And I must admit, I've been listening a lot to this album. I think it's just genius, and it's really well done. And you don't have to switch and mingle around with all your CDs to get it right. So this is a fantastic album, and I really have enjoyed listening to it for the last 2 weeks. And SAGA is maybe a lot underrated band. I think they have done so many great albums over time, and Jim Crichton is actually a fantastic songwriter, and actually the whole band is playing very well, even though there's been small changes in the lineup over time, but it's still basically the same people that is doing the music at the moment. SAGA is going on tour, and I'm not sure, but I have actually planned to see them in Copenhagen, Denmark, on October the 8th or the 18th, something like that, this year, if it hasn't been postponed. Unfortunately, a lot of concerts are being postponed at the time. My Kansas concert in Berlin this fall has been postponed to 2022, unfortunately, but well, in Corona times we have to take what we can get. But this was about the chapters and the way that it was built up. I think that if you listen to this album either on Spotify, or you can get hold of it, or you already have it, you'll agree with me that it's a fantastic album, and it's you can call it a concept album that really rocks. That's all from this. Please like, tag, and subscribe. And till we see you next time.